Hello, St. Lambert parishioners. Father Haggerty here, announcing to you today that this weekend we will resume our public masses on May 16th and 17th. This has been given to us by our Bishop Donald DeGrood, who has given us permission to begin to celebrate public masses once again. And he's also given us the opportunity to do it in conjunction with the other Catholic churches in the area. And so all the Sioux Falls pastors together have decided this is the weekend to begin to have public masses. Now, we do know that there are risks that are involved with that, and we want you to know that the obligation to attend Sunday Mass is still been dispensed by the bishop, so you are not obliged to come to Sunday Mass. And you can still watch our Masses live streamed on our Facebook and our YouTube page. But for those who want to come and celebrate the Mass here at the church, we say come on down. Now, when we do come, we do have some safety precautions, and in this video, I'd like to take you through those different safety precautions, such as seating both in the church and the gym, 6 feet away, things such as scrubbing down the pews, things such as no hymnals, we're going to be doing worship aids, hand sanitizer at the doors, communion being at the very end of Mass, not within the Mass itself. And again, communion being optional. These are some of the things we'll be looking at, again, for keeping safety first as we gather together again. So let's get started. One of the first things you'll notice is that the doors are all propped open, so you won't have to use any handles as you come in. That is, if you're not late for church. Also, there's great signs like this that remind us that what we should be doing for precautionary measures. Safety instructions for worship, whether it's washing our hands or wearing a mask, things of that nature. Be sure and read the signs as you go along. Okay, when you come into the church, you might be wearing a mask. We certainly encourage that here as you come over. And also to read our signs, just like they're doing here. Check it out. Here we go. What does this one say? Masks recommended. Sit in the church first, then the gym. And no socializing inside or outside the building. We sit, first of all, in the church. We'll have seating in the church and in the gym, so that we have plenty of space in between people, as all of our seating will be marked off, and you'll see in just a few moments. Okay, so now when you get to the entrance to the church, you see a sign here. What's the sign say? Whoa, get some hand sanitizer. You bet. All right. After you have your hand sanitizer, don't forget to put your donation in the donation box. What's last on the list? Here it says families can sit together. One blue tape section between family groups. So the next question is, where do we sit? I don't know. Let's find out. For our seating, you can see there's blue tape marking off every other pew. Those are the pews that you cannot enter. However, the ones that don't have the blue tape, you can enter. And when you get into there, you'll notice there's different spots where the blue tape is on the edge of the pew to remind you where you can sit. That should be in front of you, the blue tape. And then also you should have a blue X down by your feet. Okay, now you found a place to sit, but are you sitting in the right spot? Well, let's look here. Do you have a little X down by your feet? Yes, you do. Okay, now we need 6 feet apart, so we have our blue line here. And as we go along, you've got a whole nother blue space here to make sure that this family is safe and they're not too close to the other person over here. So there we go. So that's kind of how seating goes, to make sure that there's a blue space between you and the other person over here. So that's 6 feet. Now that you finally found your spot and you got comfortable, it's time to begin Mass. And we begin Mass with singing. And you may notice here that your liturgy aid, and the liturgy aid, there's no hymnals in the pews anymore. The hymnals are all gone so that we can prevent germs from spreading. Also, you'll notice that there's hymns in our little worship aids, but we won't sing a whole lot because we want to keep from spreading germs. And when you do sing, to not sing too vigorously, again, to not spread germs. As we go along in Mass, it's time for the offertory, and usually we have gifts brought down, but not this time. Gifts are not brought down. Instead, you drop off your donation at the donation boxes, which are at all the entrances. It'll say offertory box. These boxes will be emptied after every single Mass. Thank you so much. So in our church, we can fit about 75 to maybe 120 people, depending on how many families we have. And with the overflow, we ask that you come over here into the gym. Okay, while you're in the gym, you will be able to watch high definition on our projector screen. And this is connected directly as an output to our video system. And as you can see, there's ample seating for the gym. With seating, you can tell, again, there's the blue X's on the floor here in the gym. And With families or people, we always want one full space, blue space, between families or individuals. You can see they have their X there. There's another X here. And then there's another X over there. You can see it. The key thing is to have space between one blue X here and one blue X there. As you can see, that whole spot is vacant. That's the key aspect. Whenever we're seating, we always want to have a full space between one X and another X so that we can have that 6 feet distance. Also, when you're in the gym, when you're done with Mass, you exit out this door. So you don't go out any of the other doors, but out this side door here. Thank you. During the time for communion time will be a little bit different. Communion won't be at the end, towards the end of Mass. It'll actually be after Mass is finished. That is when communion will be. We do this so that we can space people as they leave church, that there's not a big cluttering of people, but after you receive Holy Communion, then you can leave after Mass, as opposed to giving the final blessing and everyone departs. We'll give the final blessing and then invite everyone to kneel and then to come up for Holy Communion. And after they receive, they can go home at that time. Now we all know we'll be able to receive Holy Communion in the church, and also know that in the gym, communion will be brought here as well. There will be 2 lines for Holy Communion, and you'll come forward just along the blue lines that are on the floor and come to the front to receive Holy Communion. A reminder that Holy Communion is optional. You are not obliged to receive Holy Communion. So if you feel uncomfortable to receive Holy Communion because of germ spreading and things of that nature, you are not obliged at all to receive Holy Communion. But if you do receive, this is how we do it. And there are 2 ways to receive Holy Communion. The first is on the hand. The second is on the tongue. When you receive on the hand, your hands should be nice and flat, not cupped. As you can see, she just moved her hand from being cupped to being flat. That's what we want. And here's a closer look. So as you can see here, again, her hands are cupped. We don't want them cupped, we want them flat. That way, Father or the deacon can place Jesus on your hand without touching your hand. If the hand is cupped, it's much harder to put Jesus on your hand without touching your hand. The second way to receive Holy Communion, which is the normal way, is to receive on the tongue. The United States bishops have considered everything with regards to this and do not consider it an unreasonable risk to receive on the tongue. Before we demonstrate on how to receive Holy Communion correctly, Deacon Thomas is going to show you some ways how not to do it.
In my long history of distributing communion, I've seen a lot of interesting ways of people sticking out their tongues at me. One of the ways is the little kid way. We don't want you to do that. Another way is just the open cavern. We don't want you to do that either. Sherry's going to show us how to do it correctly.
And this is the correct way to receive Holy Communion. Place your head back slightly, tongue out, and close your eyes, and don't move. And Father will get the Blessed Sacrament on your tongue without touching it every time. In the unfortunate case, if Father were to touch your hands or your tongue, this is what he will do to sanitize. The first is Father would take the Blessed Sacrament and place Jesus on the corporal, which is the table he has there. And then he will first dip his fingers into the ablution bowl, which is basically to get all the particles of the body of Christ into the cup so they're not thrown away, because it is Jesus. And he'll wipe off his fingers from the water. And then he will use some hand sanitizer. Now, don't feel bad if Father touches your hand or your tongue and then he has to take some time to do this. It happens to everyone. And then after he's finished with that, he'll go back to distributing. Okay, now it's time for Holy Communion. When it comes time for Holy Communion, you wait till your row comes, and then you stand up and you go out to the aisle. And as you go out to the aisle, you'll notice right away there's these blue lines every 6 feet to help keep you spaced out. Just a reminder, you don't have to go to Holy Communion. If you don't feel comfortable going to Holy Communion, you still exit your pew with your whole row when it's time to go, but you just walk the other way and you can exit the church. When Mass is all done, you are walking out and you have your worship aid, and we're not going to reuse those, again, to not spread germs. We put them in the recycle bin. Also, for your safety, just a reminder that after each Mass, we will be wiping down all of the pews to make sure that things are safe. And when we do have our Mass times, we invite those who are 60 years of age or older, or anyone who's vulnerable, to attend our 4:30 Mass. That'll be a Mass in which people can attend where things will be the cleanest, the air will be the cleanest. And so for those who are vulnerable, or those who can't attend any Sunday morning Mass, to attend that 4:30 Mass. That way we can make sure that those who are vulnerable are at the safest area. So in the end, I would invite you just to be flexible with everything. There's so many things to think about, so many things to learn. We're learning ourselves. We'd love to hear your comments as well. And know about my prayers for you as your pastor. And I look forward to us coming together. And really, ultimately, this is a joyous occasion. It really is. Of us coming together and to celebrate our faith, to gather together to celebrate the Eucharist and to receive our Lord Jesus Christ. We'll see you in just a few days. God bless.